Dear student, I am starting your lecture number 4 for a bipolar junction transistor. For a bipolar junction transistor. In lecture number 3, we have discussed common base configuration. We have discussed the how to obtain input and output characteristics for common base configurations. Also, we have discussed the H parameter for common base configuration. Today we will discuss the common emitter configuration. So, common emitter, already you know that emitter is common between input and output. I am showing you for your understanding purpose. This is your transistor symbol, this is your base, this is your collectors, these are emitters. So I am giving the emitter common between this input section and output section. This is your output, this is your input section. You know that 4 terminals is required for any circuit. Here, this is a 1 terminal, the second terminal, third terminal, and this is also 4 terminal. Means this terminal is common between input and output. As a result, we are telling these are common emitter configurations. We want to obtain the relation between input current and input voltage, output current and output voltage. This relation or this the graph of input current versus input voltage and output current versus output voltage is known as a characteristics of common emitter amplifier. So let us see the how you can obtain the input and output characteristics. I am showing you the circuit diagram. I am showing you circuit diagram of common emitter configuration to obtain input and output characteristics. I am showing you like this. This is the emitters, this is your base, this is your collectors, this is the input current meter I am giving to measure the base emitter voltage. I have connected base emitters. Between the base emitter I have connected voltmeters. To measure output current I am connecting current meter. To measure output voltage between collector emitters I am connecting voltmeters. Here I have to use potentiometric circuit, already I have discussed. This is your NPN. So base is positive. For the forward bias I am connecting like this. Here this is your N-type material, so I have to connect here negative, because you know that for the operation of transistors the base emitter junction should be in a forward bias and collector junction is in a reverse bias. So to keep the collector in a reverse bias, I am connecting with the positive terminal of the battery. This is N-type material, so I have connected like this. So this is your VCC, this is your VB, Here it is plus, here it is plus, here it is minus. So I have to keep this your plus sign here. This is a minus sign. Current flow in this direction. Already you know is a emitter current. So remaining two current will flow in this direction. If emitter current is outward side, I explained in a previous lecture, then two current, collector current and base current should flow in a inward direction. Because already we have seen this is in inward direction, this is inward direction. So I can write this is your plus terminal, minus terminal, this is your plus terminal and minus terminal. This voltage is plus sign, this here is minus sign. So this is your circuit diagram. This is your circuit diagram to obtain input and output characteristics. So I am starting the topic. First I have discussed the circuit, how to, already I have explained you how to connect the circuit. For your more understanding, just I am telling you, do not cram. This is 1 current meter, 1 voltmeter, 1 current meter, 1 voltmeter. Then this is your potentiometric circuit. Here is your potentiometric circuit. Here there is not no need to two battery. Okay, two battery. That's not making any difference. Then you can write this base current, this base emitter voltage, collecting current, collect emitter voltage. Then easily you can write everything here. So this is a plus minus VBE. This is a plus minus, that's all. So no need to cram the circuit diagram, you will understand. This is what? Transistor. Then I connect current meter, voltmeter, current meter, voltmeter. Okay. So this, then you connect the potentiometric circuit. So this is your positive. This is positive. Your collector in reverse bias, base must be in a forward bias. So I think you understand how to remember the circuit. Now I am starting your common emitter characteristics topic. The circuit diagram to obtain input and output characteristics for common emitter configuration is shown in figure. First I am discussing input characteristics. Look, method. How to take the input characteristics? Keep VC voltage fixed. Keep output voltage fixed, constant. Let me say I am keeping 0 volt by adjusting the rheostat R2. You keep the VC fixed. I have kept 0 voltage. Second, vary the value of base emitter voltage and note down the corresponding value of the base current. Vary the value of base emitter voltage and note down the corresponding value of base current. Means you keep 0, 0.05, 0.1, 0.15. Vary the base emitter voltage. In a suitable step, vary base emitter voltage in a suitable step with the help of rheostat R1 and note down the corresponding value of the base current. So this I have noted down. Repeat the same procedure for a higher value of the VC. Repeat the same procedure for a higher value of the VC Here I have kept VC is 2 volt. Again I vary the VB and note down the corresponding value of the base current. Listen, in a first set I have kept VC is equal to 0. Then this is kept 0 with the help of rheostat R2. With the help of rheostat R1, vary the value of VB in a suitable step and note down the corresponding value of the base current. Repeat this same procedure for a higher value of the collector emitter voltage. Base current versus base emitter voltage for a two different value of collector voltage is shown in figure. VC is equal to 0, VC is equal to 4 volt or 2 volt, anything you can keep. Now let us discuss for this. This is your input characteristics. The graph of, generally this is in microampere, this is in the graph of input base current versus input base emitter voltage for a constant value of output collector emitter voltage is called input characteristics. The graph of input current versus input voltage for a constant output voltage is called input characteristics. Listen again. The graph of input base current versus input base emitter voltage for constant value of the output collector emitter voltage is called input characteristics. The input characteristics is shown in figure. It is shown in this figure. This is input characteristics. What is the conclusion? It is just like forward bias diode characteristics. The input characteristics for common emitter amplifier is just like forward bias diode characteristics. Second, it is forward bias diode characteristics. Second, the conduction start after cutting voltage. For silicon transistors, this cutting voltage is of the order of 0.7 volt. For germanium transistor, it is of the order of 0.3 volt. So these graphs show that after cutting voltage, when base emitter voltage is of the order of 0.7 volt, then conduction start to flow. As after 0.7 voltage, as VB increases, sharp increase in base current takes place. So remember this conclusion first. It is a forward bias diode characteristics. Second, the conduction of the transistor takes place when base emitter voltage is of the order of 0.7 volt. If the transistor is made up from silicon material, if the transistor is made up from germanium material, then conduction takes place after base emitter voltage reaches to 0.3 volt. For a germanium transistor, when base emitter voltage is of the order of 0.3 volt, then conduction start. Now, let us talk about output characteristics. This is your input character. Yes. Okay, you can see, yes. As collector emitter voltage increase from 0 to 2, your base current decreases. You can see here. See. This is your IB1, this is IB2. You can see here. This is the IB1 for VC is equal to 0. This is IB2 for VC is equal to 2 volt. So this indicates as VC increases from 0 to 2 volt, your base current decreases. From this value, it decreases to this value. Why? What the reason? I am discussing this reason. See, for a fixed value of base emitter voltage, as Vc increases, your base current decreases from Ib1 to Ib2. Let us see the reason for this. Reason is that as Vc increases, then depletion layer at collector base junction increases. I am showing you like this. Depletion layer at this point increases. I think you understand. This point increases. As Vc increases, then this depletion layer increases. As a result, base width decreases, or width of the base, or you can say base of the width decreases. This causes the decrease in input current. The decrease in the base width causes the decrease in base current. So, as Vc increases, your base current decreases. See, at a constant value of base emitter voltage, when Vc increases from 0 to 2 volt, then base current decreases. Reason I am discussing for this effect. As Vc increases, then this depletion layer at the collector base junction increases, because collector is in a reverse bias. As this depletion layer increases, the width of the base decreases. As width of the base decreases, base current decreases. Or you can say the decrease in a base width causes the decrease in base current from Ib1 to Ib2 as Vc increase from 0 to 2 volt. So you can understand this discussion. Now let us discuss the output characteristics. I am discussing output characteristics. Look here. What is the step? Keep base current constant. Keep base current constant with the help of rheostat R. Vary the collector emitter voltage in a suitable step and note down the value of collector current and note down the corresponding value of the collector current. Listen, I am discussing output characteristics. So what is output characteristics? The graph of output current versus output collector emitter voltage for a different value of the input base current is called output characteristics. Listen again. The graph of the output collector current versus output collector emitter voltage for a different value of the input base current is called output characteristics. Or in simple way, if you want to say, the graph of the output current versus output voltage at a constant input current is called output characteristics. Now I am discussing how to take the output characteristics. First step, keep this constant, keep the base current constant by adjusting the proper value of the base emitter voltage with the help of R1. Keep the base current constant by adjusting proper value of the base emitter voltage using rheostat R1. Vary the collector emitter voltage in a suitable step with the help of rheostat R2 and note down the corresponding value of the collector current. Listen. For you I am writing base current, I am writing 20 microampere. Just to explain you. Vary the collector voltage, vary the collector voltage in a suitable step and note down the corresponding value of collector current. Vary the collector voltage in a suitable step with the help of rheostat R2. Vary the collector emitter voltage in a suitable step with the help of rheostat R2 and this rheostat and note down its corresponding value of the collector current. Repeat the same for a different value of the input base current. So here 0.5, 1 volt, like so on, up to 5 or 7 volt, or that depends upon the reading, and note down the corresponding value of collector current. Repeat the same procedure for a higher value of base current. (20, 40, 60 microampere) and plot the graph. I am plotting the graph of this. The graph of output current versus output collector emitter voltage I am showing you. This is the graph. This is 0 microampere I am showing you for 20 microampere. This is a 40 microampere. This is a 60 microampere. 100 microampere. This is your 100 microampere. I am showing you this tangent line. This tangent line I am showing you. OA. This I am showing you for 0 microampere current. This. So this region I am showing you by this line. Now listen. The graph of collector current versus collector emitter voltage for a different value of base current is shown in this figure. There is a different value of base current. This show the relation. This show the relation between IC and VC. This show the relation between IC and VC. So this graph show that as VC increases, your IC increases. You can see here. This increases. As VC increases, IC increases. Now, in your common base, you have seen this graph almost constant. Here it is not constant. Here slightly increasing takes place as VC increases. What is the reason? Reason is that we have seen early effect base width modulation in a last lecture. We have seen early effect, seen what we have discussed in a previous lecture as VCB increases, alpha increases, and this is called base width modulations. Due to base width modulation, there are three consequences. First, as VCB increases, alpha increases, and just for your understanding, I have written alpha if it is 0.98, as VCB increases, then alpha becomes 0.985, means only 0.5% increases. How much? 0.5%. As this is increases, alpha increases. What I am telling you? Alpha increases. As alpha increases, then see what the effect on beta. If you put here alpha is 0.98, then your beta is 49. Now you are increasing the VCB. Now you are increasing VCB. As VCB you are increasing, then alpha become 0.985. Then your beta becomes 66. This your beta becomes how much? 66. See, listen again. As VCB increases, alpha increases, you know. What the effect on that, on this graph that I am discussing? What the effect of the increasing alpha on this graph that I am discussing? As alpha increases, due to increase in reverse bias collector voltage, here reverse bias here, this is a reverse bias. So as alpha increases, okay, your beta increases from 49 to 66. So there is a 34% increase in beta takes place. Again, as collector voltage increases, means what will happen? As collector voltage increases, the depletion layer at the collector junction increases. As a result, base width decreases. This is called early effect or base width modulation. And in last lecture we have seen, due to base width modulation, there are three consequences. First, alpha increases. As VCB increases, alpha increases. You can see, just for your understanding, I am telling you, at some value of the collector emitter voltage, alpha is 0.98. At another value of the collector emitter voltage, alpha is 0.985. So let us see what is the effect on beta. At this value of alpha, beta is how much? 49. At this value of alpha, beta is how much? 66. How much? 66. So this show that only 0.5% increases in alpha. How much? From here to here, how much increases? Increase in alpha is only 0.5%. So beta increases how much? 34%. As a result, you are getting this has a slope. The slope of this line is more than the slope of the line of common base characteristics. So output, the slope of the output characteristics of common emitter is more than the slope of the output characteristics of common base. I think you understand this. So the second thing is simple. When your base current increases, your collector current increases. So graph is coming in a upward direction, because your collector output current depends upon the base current. So as base current increases, your this increases. Here I have shown the tangent one line OA. This side I am showing you saturation region. This is I am showing you saturation region. This is called saturation. Here both the junction is in forward bias. In this region, both the junction is in forward bias. Okay. And the ratio of collector emitter voltage to the collector current is called saturation resistance of the transistor. The ratio of the collector emitter voltage to the collector current is called saturation resistance of the transistor. So in a saturation region, base emitter junction in forward bias, collector junction is also in forward bias. This region is called active region. This is your active region. This is your active region. And this region is called cutoff region. Between this all is cutoff. This is cutoff. In cutoff region, both the junction is in a reverse bias. Current does not flow here. In a cutoff region, both the junction is in a reverse bias. In a saturation region, both the junction in a forward bias. In active region, the base emitter junction is in a forward bias and collector junction is in a reverse bias. Base emitter junction in a forward bias and collector junction in a reverse bias. If you want to operate transistor as an amplifier, you have to operate transistor is in a active region. If you want to operate transistor as an amplifier, you have to operate the transistor in a active region. Means base emitter junction you have to keep in a forward bias and collector base junction should be into reverse bias. The transistor has a three region. The output characteristics of transistor has three region. One is saturation region, second is active region, third is cutoff region. In a saturation region, the base emitter junction in forward bias and collector base junction is also in forward bias. This line is called saturation line. Saturation line. And when the transistor operated in this region, it is considered as an on condition. Transistor is on. Maximum current is passing through the transistor when transistor in a saturation region. So in a saturation region, the collector emitter voltage is very less, of the order of 0.2 volt, and current is very large. Resistance offered by the transistor is very less in a saturation region. So in a saturation region, the output voltage is very less, of the order of VC, which is called VC set, means saturation voltage, is of the order of the 0.2 volt, and collector current is maximum. In this region, resistance offered by the transistor is very less. In a cutoff region, the emitter base junction and collector base junction are kept in a reverse bias. In a cutoff region, emitter base junction and collector base junction are kept in a reverse bias. In this region, output voltage is very large, is of the order of VCC. When you are operating your transistor in a cutoff region, output voltage is of the order of VCC, and resistance offered by the transistor is very high. In active region, the emitter base junction in a forward bias, collector base junction in a reverse bias. If you want to operate transistor as a linear amplifier, then you have to use the active region of the transistor. Let us discuss the H parameters. For common emitter transistors. First parameter I am discussing. Input resistance. It is called HIE. I for input, E for common emitter. The input resistance of the transistor is the ratio of change in base emitter voltage to the corresponding change in a base current at a constant value of the collector emitter voltage. Listen, the input resistance of the common emitter, listen again, the input resistance of the common emitter configuration is the ratio of change in input base emitter voltage to the corresponding change in a input base current at a constant value of the collector emitter voltage is called input resistance. The input resistance of the common emitter transistor is the ratio of change in input base emitter voltage to the corresponding change in a base input current at a constant value of the collector. This ratio is called input resistance. The unit of this H parameter is ohm, and its value is of the order of 500 ohm to the 2000 ohm. The input resistance of the common emitter transistor ranges from 500 to 200 ohm. Second, output admittance. This is, they are writing HOE. O for output, E for common emitter. The output admittance of common emitter is the ratio of change in collector current to the corresponding change in collector emitter voltage at a constant value of the input current is called output admittance. Output admittance is the ratio of change in collector current to the corresponding change in collector emitter voltage for a constant input base current, or the ratio of change in output collector current to the corresponding change in output collector emitter voltage for a constant input base current is called output admittance. Its unit is mho. Its value is from 0.1 to 10 micromho. It is obtained from output characteristics. This is obtained from the input characteristics. This is your graph of IB versus VB. So from this slope, HIE is equal to 1 upon slope. Here, if you want to find the output admittance, I have to plot the graph of IC versus VC. This is your graph. If I find this, then slope is equal to delta IC upon delta VC. This slope is called HOE. Here IB is constant. The ratio of change in collector current to the corresponding change in collector emitter voltage at a constant value of the base current is called output admittance. Its range is like this. Just I have plotted the output graph to explain you. So if I find this slope, delta is delta VC, then slope is equal to HOE is equal to delta IC upon delta VC. After saturation you find. Now, third parameter I have to discuss, current gain or forward current gain. Beta is equal to, forward current gain, HFE, the ratio of change in output collector current to the corresponding change in input base current for a constant value of the collector base voltage is called current gain, HFE. HFE is the ratio of change in collector current to the corresponding change in a base current for a constant value of collector base voltage. This is obtained from the output characteristics. Here I am showing you. You find this difference. Say this is IB1, say IB2, this is delta IB. So delta IB is nothing but the IB2 minus IB1. From this you draw the normal on the collector axis. I have drawn normal. So this is your delta IC. Find the delta IC. So delta IC is nothing but the IC2 minus IC1. This is IC2, this is IC1. So HFE is nothing but the, you can write delta IC upon delta IB. It's a unitless. This does not have any unit. This is a unitless. HFE does not have unit. It may be 22 watt, 200, it may be 500, it may be 300, but generally this is the range of the HFE. You can obtain the same parameter by plotting the graph of output current. You can obtain the same parameter HFE by plotting the graph of IC versus IB. From this you find the slope. Slope is nothing but the delta IC upon delta IB. In this way also you can calculate the current gain HAV for common emitter. Fourth parameter, reverse voltage ratio, HRE. HRE, reverse voltage ratio, is the ratio of base emitter voltage to the corresponding change in a collector emitter voltage at a constant value of the input base current. The ratio of change in base emitter voltage to the corresponding change in a collector emitter output voltage with a constant value of the input base current is called the reverse voltage ratio. It is a unitless. It is a unitless. By plotting the graph of VB versus VC, you can find the HRE. You can also find the HRE. You can also find the HRE from the input characteristics. So this is the four important H parameter I have discussed. It is called hybrid parameter. One parameter as a unit is ohm, HIE as a unit is ohm, HOE as a unit is mho, HFE is a unitless, HRE is also unitless. This is very useful to analyze the amplifier circuit. See, for a given transistor, alpha is 0.98, ICO you must be knowing, ICBO is 5 microampere, base current is 100 microampere. Calculate collector current and emitter current. Answer. You must be knowing this equation. IC is nothing but the beta IB plus beta plus 1 time ICU. You already know that beta is nothing with alpha upon 1 minus alpha. And beta plus 1 is 1 upon 1 minus alpha. So 0.98 upon 1 minus 0.98 into base current 100 into 10 raised to minus 6 plus 1 minus 0.98 into 5 into 10 raised to minus. If you do the calculation of this, you will get 5.15 milliampere. Second, you will find ammeter current. So, ammeter current is only the collector current plus base current. 5.15 milliampere plus 100 into 10 raised to minus 6. 5.15 milliampere plus 0.10 milliampere. This, so I can write 5.25 milliampere. Suppose at room temperature, let me say at 30 degrees centigrade, your alpha is 0.98. Okay, your leakage current is 5 microampere, base current is 100 microampere. Calculate the collector current at 30 degrees centigrade. First questions I am discussing. Listen again. At 30 degrees centigrade, they have given alpha is 0.98, ICO is 5 microampere, base current is 100 microampere. Calculate the value of the collector current at 30 degrees centigrade. Second. Also calculate the collector current at 60 degrees centigrade. Answer. First, IC is equal to beta IB plus beta plus 1 ICO. Beta is nothing but the alpha upon 1 minus alpha. 0.98 upon 1 minus 0.98. So it is 49. So I am writing 49 into IB. IB is 100 microampere plus 49 plus 1 into 5 microampere. 4900 into 10 raised to minus 6 plus 250 into 10 raised to minus 6. So 4.9 milliampere plus 0.25 milliampere. So I can write this your 5.150 milliampere. I think you understand the first. This is at which temperature? At 30 degrees centigrade. At 30 degrees centigrade, your collector current is given by this equation. I put the value, get the answer. Now second, calculate the collector current at 60 degree temperature. Already during the lectures we have discussed leakage current will be approximately double for every 10 degree rise in a temperature. Okay, ICO I am discussing at 5 microampere is 30 degrees centigrade. 10 degree rise, so at 40 ICO will be double. Again 10 degree rise, 50, this is double. At 60 degree centigrade, from 20 it becomes double, means 40 microampere. So this is, I use this sentence, if you remember, for every 10 degree rise in a temperature, leakage current will be approximately double. So at 30 degree they have given 5. So as the temperature increases by 10 degree, leakage current will be double, 10. Again 10 degree, 20. Again 10 degree, 40. So let us calculate collector current. Beta IB plus beta plus 1, your ICO. This is a 49 into 100 plus This is your 50 into 40 microampere. Now here I have taken how much? 5. At which temperature? 30 degrees centigrade. This is at which temperature I am writing? At 60 degrees centigrade. This is at 60 degrees centigrade because your leakage current will be 40 microampere from 5. So this is 4900 into 10 raised to minus 6 plus this is 20 into 200 into 10 raised to minus 6. 4.9 milliampere plus 2 milliampere. So it is become 6.9 milliampere. So remember this, as temperature increases, your collector current increases. As temperature increases, your collector current increases. So such kind of the numerical maybe acts in your MCQ pattern also. Here is the end of your lecture.